My question is about the when you choose your path, when you feel, I don't know, that you choose your right path. Sometimes, this in my case, I feel like I'm disappoint someone, maybe my family, because I'm live out of the box. I feel good, but I don't be liar. But sometimes in my isolate moments, I say maybe I take the right path. Maybe it's like this, or maybe I have to take the other path of, I don't know, live in family, marriage, kids, or something like this. Or I don't know. I feel this struggle, but I'm pretty secure that I take the right path. But I don't know how to fight with this feeling, how to don't feel this feeling inside me that I am wrong.
What does the feeling say?
The feeling is that I'm push myself a lot, and even this feeling is like maybe another person's hope more of you, more things of you. No, not to me. I feel good, but I have this feeling that I don't want to disappoint to anybody.
First of all, it is not so much about pleasing or disappointing others. Others can get hurt when you take one path, others can get hurt when you take another path as well. The sanction of others is not a litmus test this way or that way. Just because the world is opposing you, it does not mean that you are necessarily right. And just because the world is with you, obviously it does not mean that you are necessarily right. So it is not so much about the others in the first place. Keep the others aside for a while and probe what is it that you want and whether the way you are going about your life would give you what you want. You need to be sure of yourself, first of all, to the maximum extent possible. Even if absolute clarity is not there, which it is often difficult to get, you need to be at least doing as much is humanly and honestly possible to you. I'm emphasizing on this because we all have this tendency to keep things hidden from ourselves. We do not want to look into ourselves. Often it happens that the one person we know the least about is this person, called the me. So be sure of yourself. And only you can do that. Right? Only you know your constitution. Only you know the situation. And therefore, really, only you are in the best place to know and decide for yourself. Then come the family members and the issue, probably the guilt that one has been hurting the family members. They probably look a little in sorrow. They do not sanction of one's life choices. And one feels like partaking in their misery. One says, I mean, it is because of me that the other fellow is feeling disappointed. And the burden of guilt comes over. In such situations, provided you are sure of yourself, that's the first condition. In such situations, it's important to ask, is the sorrow of the other really because of me? Or am I just the apparent reason? You see, sorrow will never say that it is purely internal or of its own making. Sorrow will always find an object, and then that object lends sorrow a moral uprightness. So we say, I am sad because of that. I am disappointed by her. We will never say, I am just sad or I am just disappointed. There is always a reason. There is always somebody outside of us that we dig out. And the moment that happens, we license ourselves to feel victimized. My daughter disappointed me, you see, and that is why I stay so miserable. Honestly, had you had no daughter, would you have been blissful? Misery is what you have chosen for yourself. Your daughter is incidental. If it were not for the daughter, you would have been disappointed by the dog. Some reason for sorrow and disappointment you would have surely unearthed from somewhere. And could you find no reason, then you would have said, I am sad because I cannot find the reason for my sadness. This sadness is not because of a family member or the political scenario or because of this or that or because the neighbor is too talkative. None of that. This inner sadness is because the inner world is not quite sorted out. And when the inner world is not sorted out, it will surely find some way or the other to stumble into something, fall down, get hurt, and complain. So, get rid of the guilt that you in some way are the cause of somebody's misery. No, you are not. But then a huge disclaimer has been attached to this, right? We said this is if you are quite sure of what you are doing. There has been no person, not even the holiest of men, who has never disappointed or hurt anybody. Live in whichever way you want to. There would be somebody who would be getting hurt. Even if you do not do anything, somebody's expectations would still be hurt. Get rid of the entire business and die. Even that would hurt somebody. Why don't you exist anymore? You're hurting me so much. Go right, somebody is hurt. Go left, somebody is hurt. Do not go anywhere. Everybody is hurt. How long and to what extent can you take care of this hurt business? If you really have compassion, then your responsibility is to go to the root of hurt. The root of hurt is ignorance. If you really love your parents, then the best expression of love does not lie in fulfilling their expectations. It lies in showing them light. The fellow does not quite know his own life. Is it an expression of love to let him decide your life as well? This hardly is love. Then what really is love or compassion in this case? Help them sort themselves out, assuming you are sorted out. That big assumption is there. Go close to them. Hold conversations. Talk a lot. Do not escape away. And be prepared for a certain bitterness in the relationship. Most of our relationships are founded on a contract of mutual ignorance. You remain ignorant, I will remain ignorant, and we pledge to each other that we will not offend each other's ignorance. That's how relationships are founded, and that is why if you start asking real questions, if you start having honest conversations, relationships tend to crack. It's quite amusing. The best way often to sustain a relationship is to keep it wrapped in haze and ignorance and some kind of a sweet and meaningless emotionality. The relationship will keep working. The day you say, let's talk, there is a problem. In fact, the contract is, there are these things we will not talk about. Such a contract should neither be made nor honored. By honoring that contract, what are you anyway getting? You are in guilt, and your family members or closed ones are in disappointment. This is anyway not a nice situation. So take the bull by its horns. That will require patience, and that patience can come only from compassion. Excitement is a momentary thing. Love requires you to play a very long innings. You must have deep patience, sustained energy to last the journey.